Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Sean Dexter and I welcome you back to the Mango Grove on this beautiful Monday morning for your daily analysis video. In today's video, we do have a lot to talk about. We'll be talking about Bitcoin. We'll be talking about ChainLink as well as gold. Now, as you guys know, we've already gotten out of our short position on gold. We took our profits, but gold is now showing signs of another really interesting trade opportunity. So we'll be talking about that as well. But before we talk about gold, we will be talking about Link. So the order of today's events will be Bitcoin first, ChainLink second, and gold towards the end of the video. Okay, so here we have the Mango research dashboard, and what do you know, Bitcoin right at the top has now switched to neutral, right? I really like how things are aligning with everything, and if you guys have been watching the videos over the past few days, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Okay, over here Link is still saying long. In fact, it said long 12 days ago, right? That's when, if you guys are just blindly trading the dashboard, you would have taken your long position all the way back on April 8th, right? 12 days ago, and you would have been up a good 38%. So Link really strong, and I did take a long trade this weekend on Link and covered my position just this morning. So I'll be giving you guys an update on that as well, just basically explaining my mindset as to why I took the trade, why I closed the trade, etc, right? Okay, so by the way, before I go any further, we have been getting PMs in regard to the Mango research dashboard and as to when it will be available. I have good news for all of you. It will be available this week, and there's going to be two versions, a free version as well as a premium version. Now, if you're only trading as a hobby, you do not need the premium version. The premium version is more so for people who are taking their trading seriously and want that extra edge, as well as all the additional features that are going to come with it, along with the features that we're going to keep adding to it in the future. So if you are interested in the Mango research dashboard, all you have to do is go on over to this link over here, mangoresearch.co/get dashboard. All right, so it's get-dashboard. So I'll put the link down in the description below. So once you use the link, you should get to this page over here, and you can scroll through the information that tells you more about the dashboard. And our goal is to turn this dashboard into a powerhouse of a trading hub. So we'll be constantly adding more and more features. In fact, we already have a couple of features that we are ready to add. We are simply in the testing phase right now, so I'm really excited for that as well. But yeah, simply scroll through the information, read all of this. It's really cool stuff, guys. And yeah, when you get to the bottom of the page over here, simply put in your name and your email, and you should receive a discount coupon that you could use on the premium version of the dashboard. Now, you don't have to use the discount code. If you change your mind for whatever reason, you could just let it sit in your email and expire. The way it works is that the discount code will go out to everybody who signs up, and it will only work for the first 50 people who actually use it. All right, yep, so that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, guys. Yeah, pretty excited for this week, and let's get back on over to the dashboard over here. And as we can see, Bitcoin has switched its trend to the neutral state now. ChainLink still long, and this trend has been going long for 12 days, giving us a good 40% move towards the upside. We'll be talking about ChainLink as well, but let's start with Bitcoin. I do have the tab opened up right over here, and I do believe this is the weekly. Yes, it is the weekly. And now we'll be starting with the weekly because we just closed a weekly candle, and Bitcoin has done something really interesting, but it's not really made our lives any easier, right? Bitcoin's being very difficult in this area. However, the clues are beginning to add up. All right, if you missed yesterday's video, guys, please go ahead and watch it. Not yesterday's, I didn't do a video yesterday, it was Sunday, so go ahead and watch Saturday's video. All right, we talked about the bigger picture, we talked about the monthly levels and the weekly levels, and we're piecing in our thesis together, right? The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Now we may have another piece. The first piece was that close above 6,400 on the monthly. Let's actually start with that. I wanna actually start with the monthly. All right, this video may actually be a little longer because of this, but I think it's pretty important. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark out a monthly level. 6,400, 6,380 was the level we were looking for, right? Somewhere around here. We closed above it. That was a big sign. What do you know? Right after we got that close, Bitcoin pushed up towards the upside. Now we can mark out this region over here as well as the top of our monthly levels. It's coming in at 7,154. What do you know, we're sitting right there, right? So is Bitcoin simply playing those major monthly levels? I do think so. I think the monthly levels are kicking in a lot stronger than, and a lot quicker than I would have expected, right? So usually when we defend a major monthly level, you would see Bitcoin play out its daily levels and its perhaps even the 4-hour levels before you see a reaction of the monthly level, right? But you saw that happen right away, right on the monthly open. And then 2 weeks later, when we come and test that monthly level again, we see a strong bounce, even though the daily was showing weakness, even though the daily was beginning to lose its trend and major levels. In fact, let's go ahead and show that right now. Right, I'm going to switch on over to the daily, and it's not going to be perfect because I marked these monthly levels pretty crudely, but there you go. Right over here on this candle, we had a push off that 6,400 level right over here, right? This was on the monthly open, April 1st, right over here, pushed all the way to the top of the range over here, came back down very recently and saw this nice bullish engulfing candle defending that monthly level, even though we lost a major level on the daily level, right? So you guys are seeing now firsthand how higher time frames will always trump your lower time frames. And over here, our lower time frame is the daily. That being said, even though the monthly is really important, the weekly is not to be ignored. And the weekly has done something pretty interesting as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lighten up these monthly levels that we have over here. Just going to double click, all right, and we're going to go on over to right over here, switch it to slighter gray, thin it out a little bit so it's there, but it's not in our way, right? Just trying to make things a little tidy for ourselves. Let's go ahead and do that over here as well. Thin it out. Gray, is that good? All right, that's good enough. Okay, cool. So we're going to go ahead and mark out our weekly level now. We're going to do it again. Pretty much the same concepts that we used yesterday. We can use this cluster right over here, this consolidation, before we broke up on over to 10,000, which then led to the major dump, right? So just go ahead and mark this over here and double click. Change this to white, thicken up a little bit for you guys. Okay, cool. So that's the top of our weekly range right over here, and the bottom of the range is sitting somewhere over here. Now, this is where things are very interesting. If you guys do remember the video from Saturday, please go ahead and watch that video, by the way. This is all kind of cascading on each other, so it'll be really useful for you guys to watch that video. We were talking about how Bitcoin kept shooting to the 7,000 region, for the past like 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and it kept closing underneath 7,000, right? So we were looking for Bitcoin to finally do something different and close into the 7,000 region. Now Bitcoin has finally done that and closed into the 7,000 region. That's good. However, it still does not give us an easy trade. Why? Because we're sitting right on the major monthly resistance, right? This gray line over here that we still have, that 7,180-ish region, guys. That is our monthly region. Moreover, it is in the middle, smack in the middle of our weekly range, right? Top of the weekly range, 7,500-ish if you're using candle closes, and the bottom is around 6,900-ish, right? So we've been using 7,000 just as a round number, but the real number, by the way, guys, is 6,900. And the reason I'm emphasizing this today is because we finally closed above that level on the weekly. Last week we kind of did it, but I was purposefully ignoring it because we did by around $10, right? I think we closed at 6,907. It's 6,908, right? And on the weekly levels, Bitcoin has a tendency of slightly closing above it, drawing in traders and then selling off, right? Which is essentially what we did last week. We went all the way down to 6,400. So I don't want to get trapped in that, and it actually paid off. From experience, I've learned. But now that we have a clean close into it, right, the real level that we're looking for, guys, is around 6,950. It's 6,900, right? Let's round it off again. Okay, we've closed into 7,000. We have a level around 6,900 at the bottom of the range. Top of the range, 7,500. But we are sitting smack in the center, so I'm still not too keen on looking for trades over here. But let's go ahead and turn on our Mango ribbon and see what the ribbon is telling us on the weekly time frame. All right, I'm gonna turn it on, and what do you know? The Tenkin is right over there at around 7,174. The 10 SMA on the weekly is coming and shooting into price from the upside as well. So very aggressive resistance right over here, right? We have our weekly Tenkin, our weekly 10 SMA. We have a major monthly level sitting right over there. In fact, let's turn on the mango ribbon on the monthly level and see what we have going on. And what do you know, monthly 21 EMA right overhead at around 7,321. So a lot of resistance, right? We're sitting in the middle of the weekly range. We have weekly resistance on our mango ribbon 10K as well. Mango ribbon 10 SMA coming in right over there as well. Again guys, by the way, mango ribbon completely free. You'll find the link down below. Get your access, get it now. Okay, so let's switch back on to the weekly. Is there anything else we can decipher from this? So here's the thing over here. Things look really, really good over here. We're seeing a really good reaction and a defense of this weekly 200 moving average test over here, and it's coming up higher and higher, all the way up to 5,700 now. So things are looking good. That being said, we could still be putting in a lower high over here guys at around 7,450. Now a lot of people think lower high bearish automatically. That's not the case guys. Remember, initially the lower high for us to be beating was all the way up over here around 10,200, right? So even if the bulls decide to take a breather over here and put in a high low somewhere around 6,100, perhaps 5,900, things will still look good. Why? Because they've put in a higher low now, and now the low high to beat is around 7,480 as opposed to 10,000. And if they do manage that, we now have a weekly uptrend, and that is stronger than anything else. So you as a Bitcoin bull shouldn't be looking for just upside, 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 guys. That's not healthy. You know why? Because it gets harder and harder to hold that trend towards the upside while still making it difficult to put in a weekly uptrend. A weekly uptrend, guys, draws in a lot of confident traders. And that confidence is what is likely to send Bitcoin into a prolonged bull market, right? And when I'm referring to Bitcoin bulls, by the way, I'm referring to the Bitcoin bulls who are looking for a prolonged run. Okay, so that's the weekly. Now the question is, does Bitcoin confirm this area over here as a lower high, or do we have more upside? It's a hard question to answer. We did have a nice weekly close, but we are sitting against weekly resistance and monthly resistance, middle of the weekly range as well. Okay, so two scenarios. If we do see further upside, I do reckon that we may come in, test the lower bound of this weekly range over here, sitting around 6,900, and then see upside, okay? Or we could simply shoot from here, from the middle of the range, after perhaps breaking 7,200 on the 4-hour or the 12-hour time frame. However, if we fail to break 7,200 and then instead come and test 6,900 and break it towards the downside and close a 12-hour or daily underneath, that is not going to be a good sign for the bulls, and in that case I'll be looking for that weekly to be setting in a higher low somewhere around the 6,100 to around 5,900. I'm not entirely sure where Bitcoin is going to come and do that, but we'll take it one step at a time. So let's go ahead and look at a daily and see what the daily is telling us. Now remember, we proposed three scenarios. The first scenario is Bitcoin breaks 7,200 towards the upside on the lower time frames like the 4-hour, the 12-hour, and then perhaps we go ahead and test all the way up to 7,500, which is the top of our weekly range. But I do think we're going to get up to 7,700, 8,000 region. All right, we'll at least see a wick over there. If we do see that momentum towards the upside, that would also have a continuation of the daily trend. That's the first scenario. The second scenario is Bitcoin coming down, testing 6,900 region right over here, lines up with the daily 21 EMA, lines up with the daily 10 SMA, perhaps a wick down to 6,800, which is the Tenkin, and then gets defended on the daily close above 6,900. In that case, we'll be looking for a test back to the top of the range and likely see continuation, all right? However, if Bitcoin fails to defend this region over here at 6,900, that brings us to our third scenario. All right, so our second scenario was a test of 6900. The third scenario would be the test failing. All right, so if Bitcoin comes down to test 6900 and fails to defend it and instead closes a daily candle underneath this region over here, I'll be looking for a daily candle close, not even a 12-hour. In that case, I will be then looking for a downtrend to start. All right, remember, we broke the daily uptrend, and you could say that this was a trap, but it's not confirmed just yet. We broke the daily uptrend, but we haven't started a daily downtrend. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of why, but if you guys are on the Mango Seed program, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, please go ahead and refresh your knowledge on the advanced trend analysis. Okay, so over here, we have broken the daily uptrend, but we've not started a downtrend just yet. We have not confirmed it. If we do, however, close underneath 6900, I'll be looking for that confirmation towards the downside for a downtrend. Okay, in that case, Bitcoin will then be looking to put in a higher low on the weekly time frame. And where can we look for that? Somewhere around these candle closes on the daily, right? So around 5800, 5900. That's our third scenario, all right? Coming down and putting in a higher low on the weekly time frame. But remember, we also have a first and a second scenario. I know this is not an easy situation, but sometimes trading is not easy, and if you're unsure of what to do, simply sit out until things are a lot more clear. You don't always have to be in a trade, guys. Remember, you are in a profession where you get to choose how difficult or easy your life is, but for some reason, traders always want to make their life difficult. Don't do it that way. Do it the Mango way. Do it the stress-free way. We've posed 3 scenarios for you. If this, then that, right? If this happens, I'll do that. If that happens, I'll do this. If Bitcoin breaks towards the downside, we'll then do that. It can be simple. Even the difficult situations, guys, can be broken down into simple scenarios, and you can execute on those scenarios as the trade unfolds. Sometimes the trade may run away from you, right? Don't panic. The charts are always there for you. There's always another opportunity. Right? Remember, guys, this is a hard scenario over here. We have weekly resistance, monthly resistance, and we're sitting in the middle of the weekly range as well. So don't FOMO into trades. I see a lot of people trying to FOMO into longs because the halving is coming up, all right? And that in itself adds so many complications. And I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the implications of the halving. If you guys do want to know my thoughts on the halving, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll try to talk about it in tomorrow's video. We don't have time to talk about it in today's video, but I'm hearing a lot of bad information out there. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to hear my thoughts. And if you guys don't want to hear my thoughts, just say, Sean, we don't care about your freaking thoughts on fundamentals, man. Just tell us about the charts. Okay, either way, just let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, so that's Bitcoin, guys. We can go ahead and look at the 4-hour to see if we're getting any signs of, actually 4 hours not looking too healthy at all, not too healthy at all. But the thing is, guys, the 4-hour has been really choppy, right? Which is why I keep recommending to play the higher time frames. But hey, you can get clues on the lower time frames, and I do think that if we do close 2 4-hour candles above 7,200, at the very least, we'll be testing the top of this range. We're at around 7,450, 7,500-ish, right? Which is the top of our weekly range. Do we get there though? We're seeing a lot of sell pressure, but at any moment, we may see those buys come in. And yeah, let's see what the 12 hours saying. The Ichimoku will give us a better idea, and I have looked at it this morning already. And what is it saying now? Well, we've closed inside the cloud now. Okay, if we can confirm inside the cloud as well, I will be looking towards a test of the Tenkin right over here, which is what? Our daily level, right? So that's 6,900 over here, lining up with our second thesis, right? Or our second proposal where Bitcoin comes, test that 6,900, which is our weekly level, as well as our 12-hour level now, as well as a daily level, because our 21 EMA, our Tenkin is all sitting around in that cluster. So a key level over here, guys. If we lose it, well, what do you know? Kijun, bottom of the cloud, all the way down at around the 6,500. So it's all lining up, right? You're seeing it all line up. Our thesis from our weekly level, right? Our propositions for those three scenarios are all lining up on this chart over here. So you're seeing how the clues all come together. So keep it simple, wait for the trade to develop, and then put on the trade. Don't chase a trade, guys. Over here, it's looking really uncertain, and when in doubt, sit the F out. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Let's switch on over to Link. Link is really easy, right? This is why I've been trading Link, and even gold has been easier than Bitcoin currently. When I see an easy trade on Bitcoin, I'll put on the trade. If I'm wrong, I'll get out of the trade. I'll wait for the next easy trade. Similar with Link, right? I'll put on the trade. If I'm wrong, I'll get out. If it's easy, I take the trade. Okay, I could be wrong on an easy trade too. Do not confuse an easy trade with being right, all right? For example, right over here, I've taken a trade towards the downside. I was right on the trade, but I took only half my profits, right? What was I wrong on? I was wrong on the fact that this has trend continuation towards the downside. So I was, you could say, partially right and partially wrong. As soon as I got my confirmation, I got out of my trade. When did I get confirmation? When the 4-hour closed above the 21 EMA. Now you guys know the trade setup over here, which was, by the way, the exact same setup for the gold trade. Beautiful. So I took that trade towards the downside. And what do you know, we got half profits on half our trade, closed the rest out over here, and we got another setup, right? And look at these ranges, guys. I'm going to go ahead and hide the mango ribbon, but look at these ranges on Link. It's so freaking clean. We've been playing this, or rather charting this, for so long, and I've been watching Link give us such easy trades that I FOMO'd into trading Link more aggressively than I usually do, right? Just look at the chart, guys. We've been charting these ranges for a very long time, and look how beautifully Link has been respecting it. We broke above this blue range over here, this blue zone that we marked out a while ago, right? Broke to the upside, came and gave a beautiful retest, and then made our way back to the top of the range over here, this yellow horizontal. Now remember, these yellow horizontals we have drawn like weeks and weeks ago, and ChainLink is still respecting it. We do the same thing over here, the same trade. Break on over to the upside, right? Now you could have taken the trade right over here, and I do believe a couple of guys in the seed program did take this trade to the top of the range, but I actually waited for a retest right over here, got filled, and then this morning I took my profits off this horizontal over here. So now we are seeing Links make a move towards the downside, or show some weakness rather. Do we come back and test the bottom of the range again? You can simply put on the same trade. Simply buy this, sell this, buy this, sell this. Now a quick trick for you guys, if you do want to get filled and not get front run on your trade, we may come all the way and test the top of the range again. Okay, we may do that, but I put my bid, now this is a quick tip, a quick little secret, against the horizontal, the most previous candle close on the 4-hour, right? If you're playing a high time frame, you can simply use that time frame's candle close instead. Now the trade may actually go on up towards the upside, go on higher rather, but that is the trade-off I'm making to make sure that my take profit hits. Now keep in mind that I'm not playing Link as a trend trade at the moment. I am simply playing it as a range trade, and I'm taking my profits and getting out, which is why I am more comfortable doing this. But if I was looking for a trend trade, I would not be comfortable doing this. In fact, I'd be looking to put my bids as high up as possible, because I'll also be looking for further continuation, right? Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about what Link is doing at the moment. As you can see, showing some weakness over here. Do we come and test the bottom of the range again? There are two scenarios that we can postulate for. One, we come and test the bottom of the range again and then break the bottom of the range, in which case we'll be looking for a move all the way back to this region over here. And this also has a very M-like top formation, right? Not very pretty at all. Now that's only one scenario, right? And we may simply bounce off this region. And what do we do if we bounce off this region? Well, now we have another scenario where we may come bounce off this range over here. And now the question is, when we do bounce, do we put in another lower high? Okay, because this, guys, over here is a lower high. This over here is your high. So high, lower high. If you put in another lower high, that is a little bearish, right? And we'll have a descending triangle, which is typically distribution, and we'd be looking for, again, a move to the downside. However, we may instead simply close our candle somewhere around this region over here at around $3.80. Remember, this candle is not confirmed just yet. We have around an hour and a half, so we are getting ahead of ourselves. This may turn into an ascending triangle for all we know, right? If we start doing something like this instead and put in higher lows, okay? So there are two scenarios that we could be looking for, either lower highs or higher lows. If we start seeing high lows, then we are seeing accumulation against, or possible accumulation against, major resistance, okay? And in which case I'll be leaning for further upside. If we start seeing the opposite and see what we just talked about, which is lower highs, then we can say that, hey, this is likely distribution, and the key word here is likely. It doesn't mean it needs to break to the downside, guys. All right, always look for that confirmation and have your thesis ready for invalidation. Okay, cool. So that's Link. Very clean, very easy to play, and another really easy trade, guys. I don't want to say easy. It sounds a little arrogant, but I was watching this for a while, right? We had a rising channel and a nice distribution pattern over here too. Now I did something similar to this trade setup was a combination of the short that we took on Bitcoin at around 7,400 that we rode all the way down to 6,450ish, where we took profits around that region, 6,500ish. Now, if you guys do remember, that trade, I built up to it, right? I took an initial position at 7,450ish, and then when we started showing weakness and breaking that 7,200 region, that's when we added to our position in full size, right? Okay, so very similar over here. I was looking at this region over here because I was looking at this distribution. I put in a small position on this candle close, got filled. I was really excited about that one because I was looking for this to break down, but I was afraid that I was being too patient and I would not get this entry. And when I got this entry, I was really happy. So as you can see, it actually shot a little bit above too, right? But you need to be okay with that. Then we actually got our trigger in this region over here to add to our position, get that full position. So what ends up happening is that your average position size ends up being somewhere around here, right? So you get a good position size. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about what's going on over here. If you guys do remember from our last video, we took our profits around this region over here, around 1680, and as you can see, gold is currently sitting underneath that level. So do we see continuation towards the downside from here? It is showing signs, it is showing hints. We are currently seeing a defense of the 4-hour Kijun, and once I see two 4-hour candles underneath the Kijun over here, I'll be looking for a spill towards the downside all the way down to this green zone over here, lining up now with our 200 moving average. Guys, I drew this green zone a while ago, so I really like how this is all lining up. It's just beautiful how the charts all come together, man. Technical analysis is so gorgeous sometimes, and these are the trades you're looking for, right? Very simple. So now you might be asking, Sean, why did you take your profits over here, right? Why didn't you look for the continuation trend trade that you usually look for? Because guys, on the daily, and this was kind of a mistake that I made on Link, right? I was getting a little bit greedy and I wanted the continuation trade before we actually broke the trend on the daily levels. And what do you know? We got defended on the daily levels. And my bias on Link, by the way, came from my bias on Bitcoin, right? I was looking for Bitcoin to eventually break towards the downside, and Bitcoin was looking so weak. So again, I just want to show you guys where I make my mindset mistakes as well, and how you guys can learn from my mistakes. As you can see on gold, I am not making that mistake. Why? Because I don't have a bias anchor, right? Bitcoin was my bias anchor that held me back from taking my full profits on ChainLink, which I would have done that if that was the same chart with a different currency pairing name to it. Okay, it's just funny to think about it that way, especially when I'm saying it out loud. Okay, so the reason I took my profits was because 10 SMA support, right? I was looking at this, I'm like, hey, we may see some support over there. And what do you know, we did see support. However, we opened underneath the candle, right? Now it does look like we may come and test the top of the 10 SMA over here. Sorry, I meant we open underneath the 10 SMA, right? So we saw support on it, but we opened underneath it on today's open. Now we may see a test of this region over here, and I do believe that's going to line up with does it line up with anything? No, it doesn't. Now I'm beginning to wonder, do we actually see a wick all the way up to the 4-hour 21 EMA, giving us a nice entry around this region? I could get a little greedy and try for the Tenkin, but again, you guys are seeing how my mind is working, trying to get greedy for those good entries, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be taking those trades, so be very, very careful with just trying to trade, me speaking my mind out. None of this is financial advice. However, I am liking this over here, especially if we manage to wick into the 4-hour Tenkin and close the daily into the 10 SMA. So a good play would be for me to short the 4-hour 21 EMA 4-hour Tenkin and then validate my trade based on the daily close underneath the 10 SMA, in which case I'll be looking for a move towards the daily 21 EMA where I'll be looking to take my next batch of profits. So this is an aggressive play. And why would I be looking for something aggressive right now, guys? And I'm not sure if I'll take it just yet. But the reason for that is because of how the weekly closed. The weekly is not looking good at all, right? That looks like a rejection right over here. And we've also already taken out the low of the previous week, which is sitting at 1674, right? So I would be looking for eventual continuation all the way down to 1618, perhaps even a test of the weekly 21 EMA over here, guys, because we did not get that. When we came and bounced off the Kijun over here, this was an aggressive bounce. We bounced off the Tenkin and just saw continuation. We did not get that test of the weekly 21 EMA. I'll be looking for that eventually, right? Because remember, guys, we do have a lot of support underneath here on the lower time frames. Let's go through them all again one by one. On the 4-hour, we still have the Kijun to contend with. On the daily, yes, we've lost the 10 SMA, but this is not confirmation for me just yet. I'd like to see even today's daily candle close or wick into the 4-hour 21 EMA and a Tenkin would be a good play, but it is an aggressive play because the 10 SMA, in my opinion, is not confirmed. Okay, the 21 EMA is sitting right underneath at 1653. Yes, we do have the Kijun and the Tenkin coming in at around that 1600, and if we do lose that daily 21 EMA on gold, then we can look towards this region at 1600 on the daily, which lines up with your weekly 21 EMA, right? Yep, right over there, 1590-ish, right? So around this zone over here, the Tenkin on the weekly and the 21 EMA on the weekly lines up with your major daily levels, which is essentially your Kijun and your Tenkin, okay? So that's how you see the chart unfold when you are breaking a aggressive trend towards the upside. And this was pretty strong trend, right? And the risk reward on this, catching these moves to the downside, are pretty juicy. You can see this nice rising channel towards the upside. On the daily, you're seeing this green upward candles like this, which typically form into a channel on the lower time frame. All right, so that's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Throw it a like, throw a subscribe, and oh yeah, if you guys are interested in the Mango Research dashboard, use the link. I believe it's right over here. Again, it is mangoresearch.co/get-dashboard. All right, again, we'll link it down below. Yeah, we'll also be adding gold and other metals along with forex pairings in the future. Remember, our goal is to turn this into a powerhouse of a trading hub, so we'll be constantly adding features for the years and years to come. And oh yeah, by the way, I've got this question a few times as well, more than a few times. People ask me that will the price of the dashboard increase as we add more and more features in the future? Yes, it is likely to increase, but your price will not increase. You will not have to pay any additional costs as we add more features. You will retain your low price, you will retain your early bird price, etc, etc. Okay, so don't worry about that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. My name is Sean Dexter. I will see you guys in the next video. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any suggestions or any questions, etc, etc. See ya.